And for more, we are joined by Ambassador Ido Aharoni, former Israel Consul General in New York, and also a global distinguished professor of business at Touro University. Ambassador, my dear old friend, it's wonderful to see you. I want to go back, if we could, to show those pictures of them being paraded today. It is gut-wrenching. When I look at these images, you know, Ambassador, my father was a prisoner of war, so this is very personal to me when I see this. And I look at these images to see what's happened to these three men, and to see Eli Sharabi right there. This man lost his wife. His two daughters were also murdered by Hamas. And he's sitting there today saying, I can't wait to see them, because he doesn't know that they have already been murdered by Hamas. He looks like an almost different person to see this today. What these monsters have done to these men, it's extraordinary and it's heartbreaking. The world needs to see what they have done, what Hamas has done. Your thoughts as you look at these images, Ambassador?
Well, some people will certainly see the truth and some people won't. You know, hopefully more people will understand what we're dealing with here. It's a deadly organization. The notion that because of the fact that the Palestinians are the underdog, they're always right and they're never accountable. Here, you have the proof in front of you. They must be held accountable for what they did, and hopefully the United States administration, the new Trump administration, will work hand in hand with Israel to make sure that that happens.
Yeah, what needs to be done to hold Hamas accountable, as you're talking about? What do you think the next steps? They seem to always break the rules, and now we have seen them. Thank goodness these three men are alive. But we were talking earlier in the show, and you know this all too well, they've already said that not all of them, that they will be returning in this, even phase one of this new deal, are alive. That's going to be gut-wrenching. I mean, these men already look emaciated and tortured and starved, clearly. You can't imagine what we're going to see next week.
Yeah, so what needs to happen is to resolve the hostage crisis. First, it's what we should have done, Israel should have done on October 8th. You need to remove the leverage that Hamas has. Hamas has only one leverage, and that's the hostages. Given the high sensitivity among Israelis, which is a good thing, to lives of soldiers and civilians, you needed, the Israeli government had to remove the hostages off the table, meaning resolve the hostages crisis first. Then you're free to do whatever you need militarily, because Hamas doesn't have the leverage. This is a generational effort, Rita. This is not a war that will end a month or two from now. The whole argument that if we release the hostages, it would endanger more Israeli lives, that's baloney. You need to release the hostages to free Israel, to continue the military effort as long as it takes to cripple Hamas' military capacity.
You know, I want to go to show some comments. You brought up President Trump in the White House, because we saw really a powerful moment of support this week when we saw Bibi Netanyahu, the prime minister there, standing alongside President Trump. Of course, he's the first foreign leader to visit President Trump in the second term. And I want to play, this is President Trump. This is when he was speaking and talking about, you know, Israel, and talking about maybe the next phase. Here is President Trump.
As far as Gaza is concerned, we'll do what is necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that. We're going to take over that piece, we're going to develop it, create thousands and thousands of jobs, and it'll be something that the entire Middle East can be very proud of. But everybody feels that continuing the same process that's gone on forever, over and over again, and then it starts, and then the killing starts, and all of the other problems start, and you end up in the same place, and we don't want to see that happen.
What do you think of this next phase, this sort of idea about moving them, relocating them? And of course, as you touched on, next week, we're going to see the King of Jordan, King Hussein, is going to be coming, and other Arab leaders. What role can they play in maybe this next phase?
So I think that in order for this to happen, to become a reality, we need to put together a coalition. The coalition will have to involve two elements. like-minded Western countries, led by the United States, Canada, Great Britain, Germany, possibly Australia and other countries, and of course the major Arab countries, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and others. They all have to be involved, and they all have to recognize what's in it for them. The rebuilding of Gaza, whether with the Palestinians staying in Gaza or with the Palestinians temporarily relocating to some other place, is going to take many years. I think President Trump himself said it was going to take between 10 to 15 years. And that's, I think, a realistic time frame to look at the rebuilding of Gaza. But it's important to note, Rita, it's not just the physical rebuilding. We need to make sure that their educational system is completely overhauled. We cannot allow young children from cradle learning to hate Jews and that the goal of their movement, of their being, is to kill Jews.
No, you're right. There needs to be an all overhaul, re-education, a process of appreciating, of course, the history and all mankind. You're absolutely correct. Ambassador Ido Aharoni, thank you so much. And our thoughts and prayers are so much with all of you there today in Israel. It's great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.